Hello and welcome to Olympian Water Testing, giving you the best in water analysis. Today we are looking at the role of water in Buffalo's lead exposure crisis. So as we know, lead is harmful in any amount to anyone, especially young children. And we're all familiar with the lead exposure crisis in Flint, Michigan. It made the water there dangerous. People could not drink it. People had to use bottled water. But according to the New York State Department of Health, 5.83% of children in Buffalo, New York, tested for blood lead levels between 2000 and 2014 suffered from lead exposure. So this is not just limited to Michigan or Flint, as some people might think. It's still a problem here in the United States, and it's still a problem in potential big cities in New York. And that's 3 times the rate in Flint. So even it was a little bit worse in some areas. While a lot of people are fixated on Flint due to certain news cycles, it's something to take a look at. It's argued that the water supply and the infrastructure play a significant role in excess cases of lead exposure, following the presentation of how factors are involved with the supporting data. The BLLs, which stands for blood lead level, discussed here exceeded 10 micrograms per deciliter and 10 BLL of concerned establishment in 1991. However, more recent research shows that even small levels of lead exposure are unsafe and cause irreversible damage. As we've talked about, even a small amount of lead, it's not even just parts of lead, like there's different heavy metals. You can have iron, copper, even a small amount of lead can cause irreversible damage on children or other people, especially if their immune system is weakened or if there's problem. In 2012, the Centers for Disease Control revised its guidelines with the goal of reducing every child's BLL to the lowest possible level. Using the 97th percentile of BLL for all U.S. children aged 1 through 5 years, the new level of concern was lowered to 5 deciliters, and the CDC eliminated the most extreme cases of lead exposure and used an average of the rest to determine what might be considered normal level of lead exposure. Because of these changes, the data used to determine lead exposure rates in this paper applies to older 10 UG deciliter of level of concern. And as a result, the rates discussed here are under the representative blood lead exposure severity and rates in Buffalo. And there's a lot of documented symptoms of this, which can really impact the quality of life. These include development delay, learning difficulties, lowered ability to manage emotions, seizures, loss of appetite, fatigue, and abdominal pain. So this is a huge issue. Here we can see what was got from the lab sample. We have everything that's analyzed, what was reported. They even got to the source. And we can see with what's going on specifically here. The Buffalo water infrastructure is unique. We can see what's going on here. We can also see the combined sewage interflows, and you can see actually here what's going on with the section of the pipe that was removed, Parkside in North Buffalo, when it was replaced, these corroding pipes, and the Parkway water main, and the oily sheen. So this is definitely something to be taking a look at. While a lot of people look at some things like Flint, Michigan, they look at some bad examples. It's definitely an issue all across the United States and something to definitely be aware of, because it can harm young children, and it can be in places you might not even expect. That's why it's always a good idea to periodically test your water for any level of lead.